baik tu dia jadi beratahu रेडियो फीजी बहुत रेडियो फीजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
Good evening, Fiji. In this bulletin, PM acknowledges sacrifices of mothers. Fijians celebrate Mother's Day. And RABUKA says SODELPA leader needs more authority.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has extended his gratitude to every mother who has been an ally in Fiji's campaign to help keep everyone healthy, safe and secure. In his Mother's Day message, Bainimarama thanked the mothers for spending time away from home, serving in hospitals, nurses and fever clinics to help combat the spread of the coronavirus. Bainimarama says he is humbled to witness the incredible lengths that moms across Fiji will go to see smiles on the faces of their children and families. The Prime Minister has been delivering relief in the past week to Fijians who saw their lives upended by Cyclone Harold and says he spoke to many mothers across the Lao group and Kandavu. Bainimarama highlights even though their own suffering, these mothers thought not of rebuilding for themselves, but doing so to gift the next generation of Fijians a better country. Having a full-time job does not make you less of a mother when compared to a stay-at-home mom. 32-year-old Senikavika Chuta, who is the General Manager Operations at the Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission, says taking care of her son has not been easy as she juggles time between her job and him. Faria Begum has more.
Having a supportive husband has helped Senikavika Chuta become a good mother to her 2-year-old.
Some I've noticed with some other okay fathers, you'll see the mother. The children are more clingy to their mother, but with my husband, they're very close. He baths him, he changes him, he feeds him, everything.
Chuta believes her mother has always been an inspiration for her, who never gave up and attained her master's degree at the age of 40.
I give all credit to my mothers because she's always taught me something. It's always to be strong. When everyone else is struggling, you have to remain strong. Have that mindset that at the end of the day, this is just a refining process for you.
Meanwhile, Women Minister Mereseni Vuniwanga conveyed her gratitude to mothers who have taken up the role in the nation's approach to combat COVID-19. Vuniwanga says these mothers are not protecting only their families and loved ones, but also fellow Fijians. Education Minister Rosie Akbar also saluted all mothers for their contribution.
A very happy Mother's Day to all our amazing moms. Thank you for making our world so full of love and joy. Wishing you all a fabulous Mother's Day.
Mother's Day falls on the second Sunday of May every year, and people around the world honor and celebrate their mom's contribution in their lives in many ways. Faria Begum, FBC News.
A child will never know the struggles a mother goes through to ensure they get everything. Some even opt to go hungry just to keep their children fed. Such is the story of two mothers who spoke with FBC News, who say the sacrifices have paid off and no words can describe how proud they are of their children's success.
42-year-old Sashi Chand says raising her 2 sons and a daughter has not been an easy journey.
Sometimes when I would go to bed, I would think when where my next meal would come from. But then I always had hope that God will help me, because it so happened that my mother would turn up and help me in a way or the other way.
Chand, who lives at an informal settlement in Vatuanga, is an example of a strong-willed mother who has been able to provide the best for her children despite not having proper electricity or water supplies. Despite the hardships, Chand is a proud mum today, as her 2 sons not only excelled in school but are doing well at the medical school as well.
So they would win cash prizes, either first prize, second or third, whatever they got. So they get cash in the envelope. So they won't open the envelope. They were such good boys that they would bring the envelope and give it to me, and then they would tell Mom, this is just buy something for the house.
Meanwhile, 60-year-old market vendor Ngiria Tuivuniwai still wakes up at 3 a.m. to ensure her family never lacks anything.
Before the curfew, I used to come about 3 o'clock to come and look for vegetables. But now, because of this, I came after 5, then I came. When I did this, I just struggled for my children. Before he was he went to PNG for 3 years, spent 3 years as a trade commissioner in PNG, and then he came back.
No matter what a woman does, it is true that her strength must never be underestimated. Happy Mother's Day from the team here at FBC. Faria Begum, FBC News.
The Social Democratic Liberal Party leader believes the party leader needs more authority. Speaking to FBC News, SITIVENI RABUKA says the party leader currently has very little say in the running and decision-making of the party. RABUKA believes the party hierarchy is flawed, and it's partly to be blamed for the disunity that exists. Koroi Tandulala reports.
The SODELPA leader wants active participation in the decision-making processes of the party.
I mean, at the moment, I do not have any involvement in the finances. I do not. I stand in line and ask for funds to fund money to fund the campaign, the manifesto, the principles and policies of the party. That's done by and I'm the one. I'm the commander. You go and fight the battle. These are the rules, so and this is your budget.
RABUKA says SODELPA's structure is such that the party leader has authority only when parliamentary matters are concerned.
I lead the parliamentary group, but I stand in the queue when they make their party decisions as party president, vice president, and so on.
So there's a conflict again there?
Yeah, there is a conflict, and that has always been there. What we need to do now is to make sure you streamline the chain of command, and you make everybody's responsibility clear.
RABUKA says SODELPA has too many talking heads when what it really needs is to empower its leader.
First of all, he needs a base, a good base. That's the united base of SODELPA. These are the ones that will give you the money to run your campaign. And they are the ones who will cooperate with you in your campaign, telling the people about the party.
Under the current constitution, RABUKA suggests the party leader is a toothless tiger when dealing with internal affairs. The SODELPA constitution is to be reviewed, and the lack of powers of the party leader is something RABUKA will want to have changed. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
With the Fijian tourism industry now at a standstill due to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, the sugar industry stakeholders have said it's time for them to step up to help the economy. The Fiji Sugar Corporation had set the wheels in motion earlier this year by securing export markets in Europe and the UK. Another plus point for the FSC is that it will be selling 60% of Fiji's sugar at the old price, as the deal was struck before the prices decreased. Apinisa Wangairandovu with the details.
The export earnings from sugar looks promising for the FSC.
We're well positioned from a sales point of view to generate in excess of $150 million worth of export revenue for the economy and for us as an industry.
Clark says most of the deal was struck before the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic gripped the international markets.
We're already well advanced in the planning of exporting 170,000 tons of bulk sugar to markets mainly in Europe and the UK that have already been identified. We fortunately have about 60% of that fully priced before the market has gone down. We have a further 80,000 tons of molasses. It's going to go into the export market. And then we have reserved sufficient sugar for supply to the local market and the Pacific Islands.
With harvesting scheduled to begin next month, Permanent Secretary for Sugar Yogesh Karan is challenging growers to give their best. Many farmers had raised concerns about the shortage of labor, but Karan assured this will be fixed.
We can very well make use of this labor which are now idle to go into farming. Questions raised to us that how will we get harvesters, the operators for mechanical harvesters from India, how are we going to bring them in because the difficulties that farmers are going to face. I take this opportunity to address this, the electing CEO for Sugarcane Growers Council to have a program whereby we train our people.
The training program for local harvesters will begin soon to avoid any delays in the cane harvesting season. The FSC aims to produce 200,000 tons of sugar this season. Apinisa Wangairandovu, FBC News.
Up ahead, maintain physical distancing, reminds Health Minister. And we bring you the success story of former flying Fijian John Sandy.
Pula natang ko aproslan ngarse, go erkraki. Do televe ono barong na Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Radio Fiji 1, nandomo ibiti.
Maintaining physical distancing should be one of the key lessons to take away from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Health Minister says we must continue with basic hygiene practices, not only in dealing with COVID-19, but to also break the chain of infection for other communicable diseases. Koroi Tandulala reports.
Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wanga-Inabete stressed that the easing of some COVID-19 restriction does not mean we are virus-free.
Going to the market, so for example, if normally there's 5 of you that goes to the market or supermarket, if you can only 2 of you go or 1 of you go, that's even better. Dr.
Wanga-Inabete says this pandemic has also changed some business practices and these must continue.
Some places, restaurants, they've gone to takeaways. So that they're not congregating customers. The new norm is realizing that social distancing is a way in which you can break the chain of infection. It doesn't mean that we reach a certain stage and we say, okay, I'll go back to my old habits. No, we can't. No, I'm asking us not to do that. We must continue to have hygiene habits that are important for not only breaking the chain of COVID-19 but also other communicable diseases.
The Health Minister says the pandemic has also highlighted the effectiveness of some basic etiquette such as hand washing that is normally dismissed by the mass, adding that despite no new cases being recorded, Fijians must continue with the mindset of possible cases in the country. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
The 6 radio stations of the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation are giving its listeners a chance to showcase their talents and win huge prizes. FBC is partnered with FTC Talent Media and Entertainment Limited, a company owned by Bollywood actor Sunil Shetty, who has embarked on a global talent search. To participate in the FTC Shorts Challenge, Fijians will need to shoot a less than 3-minute video using their mobile phones. The movie must be shot within your home, and you can act in it as well. FBC Manager Radio Program Shami Lochin is urging Fijians to make use of this opportunity.
You may think India is so far. What if we win? Then your prizes will be shipped to you, or if it's a huge cash amount, they will transfer it in your account. And who knows, this could be an ideal opportunity for Fijians to showcase their talents and get a role in Bollywood industry, maybe to direct a film, to be an actor, etc.
Seventh Heaven Fiji has stepped in to help the local communities affected by the recent tropical cyclone and the COVID-19 pandemic. It donated over 80 cartons of food supplies to SODELPA village on Malolo Island. General Manager Sanjay Deo says keeping in mind the uncertainty due to COVID-19 and the devastation caused by the cyclone, they thought it would be an appropriate time to start supporting those in need. Deo says even though they are not operating as a business yet, the company still decided to allocate funding to help the communities. He says many people from SODELPA have been very supportive of the Seventh Heaven business and they wanted to return the favour. Former flying Fijian John Sandy is living the dream of glory behind the try-line. The 1987 Flying Fijians World Cup lock says the hardships he faced when growing up did not deter him to pursue his dreams. Sandy is now one of the renowned investors not only in Fiji but throughout the region. Apinisa Wangarundovu with tonight's success story.
Sandy was only 3 when his mother passed away. He was raised in Burerua village in Tailevu by his aunt.
My mom's elder sister brought us up in the village in Burerua, and for that we're always forever thankful. But I went to Suva Grammar School first, and then much later in my life, my school life, I went across to Marist.
The father of 6 believes rugby gave him a lot of lessons and helped him dream big.
We used to listen to the test matches on the radio, and you hear all these big names. And you can only imagine in your mind what they look like and how they play. And then when I go across and when we run on the field and we play, and you say, gee, this is the guy that I always hear about, I'm standing right next to him. And then I look, I say, geez, I'm just as big as him, if not bigger, and I'm taller. And then when we jump in the line out, I beat him or I tackle him. And I start to think, gee, I'm just as good as this guy.
It was his love of rugby that led him to play overseas, where he developed an interest in the banking sector.
From the lessons learned in rugby and also in the streets and the struggles, I've been able to sort of transition that into my business world. Mind you, when I started, I made a lot of mistakes, and I did not have any mentors. And
Sunday worked for several financial institutions, and during this time, he planned on running his own firm.
I got a job in Vanuatu, in the top offshore banking center and tax haven. I was a fund manager there and investment manager for the largest trust company. And then from there, I moved across to Papua New Guinea, and I worked there for a merchant bank that was, the biggest shareholder in that merchant bank was Rothschilds.
Sunday is the owner of PNG's first licensed trustee company, known as the Melanesian Trustee Services Limited, which manages over 600 million kinas in assets.
I think there's a business person in all of us. When we're growing up, we always aspire to have this, and one day I'm going to have my own big car and I'll be rich. And it's always good to have that dream. It's how you translate that dream into a reality. That's where the businessman becomes a businessman.
Sunday is also one of investors behind forming Kontiki Finance in Fiji. The 60-year-old has shares in Ngonovo Investment and is also the owner of Cover Corp, which was established in 2003. Apinisawang Kertobu, FBC News.
In sports after the break, new football coach welcomes extra preparation time. And Nandronga Rugby mindful of future competitions. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi, and Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Fiji football head coach Fleming Seretslev has ample time now to build a strong team for the Oceania Football Confederation Cup. The OFC has been rescheduled in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Seretslev says he will be able to test out the best combination for the final team. Karatavi with the details.
The head coach has set the ball rolling.
I've already had 2 camps, and I'm actually optimistic on behalf of Fiji football. I'm sure we can build a very good national team.
Those selected so far by the 70-year-old include a mixture of veteran and junior players from different districts.
All in all, I've been in touch with more than 30 players. Some of them are the usual players from before. It could, for example, be David Rodriguez, it could be Rosiati, it could be the goalkeeper Benjamino. But there might also be some new players that are pressing very hard for a place in the squad.
Fiji FA Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf believes the football pace in the country needs to increase.
Fijian football, we are playing very slow football. And this is one area he's trying to drive at the coaches, that certain training needs to be done so that the football is faster and we will be competitive at the international level.
Seretslev is expected to name the final squad once the COVID-19 restrictions are lifted. Karleni Tavi, FBC Sports.
About 6 weeks ago, South Korea had a concerning COVID-19 trend. Now it is the center of the football universe. Having slowed its numbers drastically, it has become the first country in the world to have its biggest sporting competition back up and running, with football's K-League broadcast globally to millions of viewers. The highlights from TVNZ.
This will fast become a familiar sight in global sport. Temperature checks for the few players, coaches, staff and media allowed into closed stadiums. South Korea's K-League football famously leading the way, the first sight of it in Jeonju City. Like never before, its pinnacle competition going global, with the match between Jeonbuk and Suwon broadcast on Twitter and YouTube. In South Korea, fans flocked to restaurants and bars just to watch.
I now feel like my thirst for football has been quenched as I can watch the game. My heart will beat for a long time.
It's a quite remarkable feat for the Asian country to lead the return of live sport. Having had concerning early trends of COVID, they now total 11,000 cases, only 256 deaths. The league paying for tests on all players and staff a fortnight ago. All came back negative, meaning games got the green light. And they're games that league bosses are trying to make as realistic as possible, blasting fan chants, albeit a little sporadically, through the ground speakers. As for the game itself, Jeonbuk pleasing their hordes, imaginary home fans, thanks to this 84th minute winner from 41-year-old Lee Dong-guk. The goal celebration a thank you to South Korean medical workers during the pandemic, a pandemic that stranglehold on sport may be starting to loosen.
Team Fiji will be seeking assistance from corporate bodies to help raise funds for the Tokyo Olympics and the Pacific Mini Games. Fastenok Chief Executive Lorraine Ma says they are aware that funding for the COVID-19 pandemic and rehabilitation post-TC Harold will be first priority.
For the Olympic Games, the International Olympic Committee has subsidies it provides to the National Olympic Committees to assist in participation. And so I'm sure we will be able to, we may have to work very hard at the fundraising. We rely on the corporate community as well as the people of Fiji when it comes to our fundraising.
The Nandronga Rugby Club has not deviated from its goal to ensure the development of rugby at the grassroots level. Union Logistics Officer Viliame Uluinadeva says once restrictions are lifted, they will focus on junior teams and also begin preparations for the Skipper Cup. Uluinadeva says players have been working on individual training programs during the lockdown.
Development of rugby in the one of Nakuruvarua through our grade levels. We have the under-18s, our Nandronga Academy. We have our Nandronga under-19s men. Women's and men, and also we also have a sevens program that take place after the 15th season.
Prominent rugby stars like Setefano Somoda and Mosi Vudango, Ermasi Randronro, Atunaisa Ravuma and Eminoni Nasilasila have joined the teams. Taking a look at the weather, a trough of low pressure remains slow moving in the vicinity of the Fiji group and gradually drifting eastwards away from the country. Looking at the west, mainly clear conditions. And today's weather eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, a mixture of sun and clouds, showers expected later this evening. And up north, clear to partly cloudy, scattered showers and thunderstorms is the forecast for this evening. At sea, it's moderate to fresh southerly winds, moderate to rough seas. Turning to the tides, high tide at 9:14 p.m. with low tide at 3:10 tomorrow morning. Sunrise is at 6:23. Now, for tomorrow, some showers and a few thunderstorms over Vanuatu, Taveuni and nearby smaller islands, Lau and Lomaiviti group. Tomorrow's temperatures will remain in the high 20s. And further outlook, we're looking further on to Tuesday. Mainly fine weather conditions expected over most places. And recapping the main stories for tonight, PM acknowledges sacrifices of mothers. Fijians celebrate Mother's Day. And RABUKA says SODELPA leader needs more authority. Now, for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question, we're asking, do you think Sir Bill Beaumont's re-election as World Rugby Chair was the right outcome? Visit our FBC website to answer. And you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj. Share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. And that's it from the news desk this evening. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable new week ahead. Stay safe. Good night.
Bola, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.